Day 48. Well, it's been a very slow start today. Got up at about 10 o'clock after a bit of billiards last night and then being dragged out to some karaoke club, karaoke bar, against my will, or against my better judgment, but nonetheless performed a rousing rendition of I Knew You Would Trouble by Taylor Swift, which went down a storm with the crowd as far as I could see, and slightly compromised after a few beverages, so a little stroll around today, a bit of eating and drinking, and back on the road tomorrow, I think. Day 49, rolling out of Sofia, trying not to get the wheel stuck in the tram line. I'm about 15 kilometres out of Sofia and the sun is shining and it's actually relatively warm. Heading to a place called Novihan in a few kilometres time to sit down. Wasn't a great exit from Sofia at all, about 8 kilometres on the motorway. Bungled the nav and have now escaped some smaller roads and headwinds to boot. Had a little wander around the city yesterday. Nice enough. Nice buildings, few markets, few shops, bit of food. Does the job. I'm on my way to Plovdiv just now. It's about 170 kilometres. Cycle from Sofia, so I'll split it up into 2 days. 2 leisurely days of 80-90k. And hoping to camp somewhere tonight and then have the pyjama hostel booked, €8 a night in Plovdiv for a couple of nights, and a bit more relaxation, rest, cultural exchange. I had an absolutely wonderful 2-night stopover in Sofia. Stayed in the hostel Mostel, highly recommended, and contained a very diverse array of people, all ages, all nationalities, all varying ideas about the world and life. And one of the great things of travel is just the ability to sit down and have conversations with people that you would never come across in day-to-day life. And it's interesting to see where your own ideas, your own worldview fits in among those of others, and yeah, some really eye-opening conversations and highly enjoyable. Spinning back into the murk. Cannot see a thing. It's really a little bit eerie. Very bleak, very undulating. Actually quite wet as well. I think I looked at the forecast for Sofia and it's dry for today and the next few days, so didn't quite expect this. Preconceptions not being met as per usual. It was thick wet fog higher up. Couldn't see more than 50 metres probably, not even that sometimes. And big 700 metre descent into a very old-fashioned village. Got rather cold and I'm now climbing again. It's about 4:30. There's some sort of settlement a few kilometres away which I think I'm going to check out. Not really seeing a lot camping wise, and was chased by quite a sizable dog earlier. It's happened a few times this trip actually, but this guy was fast and big. Just trotted alongside me about at least 25 miles an hour. Could have had my leg off if you wanted to, but it puts you a little bit on edge. Day 50, into week 8 of the tour, and enjoying a very leisurely morning, sat in the tent. I've got about 80-90k to go to Plovdiv. Since Graz I've been travelling with 2 pairs of socks, and yesterday one succumbed to one of the bunk beds in the hostel, fell on the side and didn't want to awaken the person underneath me, so they were abandoned, and a nasty surprise for them to wake up to, I'm sure. So in the Lidl on the way out of Sofia, a bit of an impulse buy. Double purchase of the Christmas socks. Feet are toasty warm. What a treat. Four or 5k down the road, looking for an early calf stop. Very early stop this morning after probably 4k to have a nice little cafe latte and catch up on a little bit of trip administration. And I was also informed that England won 3-0 in the football last night against Senegal, having previously been misinformed that the game was tonight. So a bit of a shame to miss that, but maybe we'll see the quarterfinals. Lovely to have some dry conditions today and a bit of visibility. There's quite a bit of livestock grazing, cows and such like, in this valley, and I've already noticed quite a number of very large dogs, which I think are there to sort of guard the animals, and either they've not noticed me or they're indifferent to me. I'm not quite sure which one. I have employed the water bottle, a vigorous squirt of the water bottle, to fend off dogs in the past, which has seemed to work quite well. So I'm ready with the stopper open to deploy where necessary. Another pretty well established Bulgarian town. Many seem to be completely abandoned, perhaps not quite this big, and those that can sustain a bit of industry seem to be relatively thriving. You get a real rush when you roll into a town and you hear the loud barking of one or multiple dogs and the scrabbling of paws on the ground to see that they're actually chained up. Whew! Had a few of those today actually, quite exhilarating. I've elected to take the non-busy route into Plovdiv, which is just coming into view on the left there, and hoping to avoid a repeat of the motorway fiasco coming out of Sofia. Not fast going, but it's not even 2 o'clock, made really good time today, and yeah, checking into the pyjama hostel very soon. Plovdiv, here we are. Good to see. Old town, turning left. Day 51. And a rest day in Plovdiv today, having a look around the sights of the city. A great many cats seen. Day 52 today, and I decided in the end to stay another night in Plovdiv, so 2 full rest days off the bike, and I've been wandering about the city in the sunshine. I've been single layered for much of the day, which bodes very well for the onward journey south towards Turkey, and have just been working on one or two schemes for next year, so feeling quite creative, quite inspired by the journey so far, and heading up to try and get a bit of a vista of the city.